Chag Sameach. I hope all of you are having a beautiful Pesach. We are so blessed to be together with Mishpacha at a family reunion in beautiful Utah, davening with mountains behind us, burning chametz in the snow, celebrating a Seder with cousins around the table, deeply, deeply grateful. Just yesterday, we were taking a family hike at a canyon not so far away from the backdrops that you see around us. And the walk started off relatively easy. It was enjoyable. We had all our kids with us. But as we got higher, it got more treacherous. Some snow and then some icy conditions. To tell you the truth, it came to a certain point where we were really thinking of going back. And just then, there was this hiker who was on their way down that saw us and told us, keep on going. Don't worry, the icy stretch only continues for another couple minutes. Then it's 10 minutes to the top. There's a beautiful waterfall. You can do it. You can do it. And that gave us the strength, encouragement, knowing that the goal was in striking distance, made the entire rest of the experience that much difference. And so happy that we ended up doing it. Looking forward to sharing pictures with all of you. But that experience shared with me a powerful idea that I want to pass on to you. We are now hours away from entering the latter days of Passover, the 7th and the 8th day. And on this time, we transition from the exodus from Egypt into the future. It's not where we're coming from, but it's actually more of where we are going to. Now, the 7th day is historic because that is when the sea split. The Jews left for 3 days. Pharaoh chased after them for 3 days. The showdown at the Sea of Reeds happened on day number 7. Many of us are familiar with the story. This is not the way they showed it in the movies. But as the Jews were faced with this horrible predicament, Pharaoh behind them and the sea in front of them, there was one individual, Nachshon, who knew exactly what to do. The rest of the Jews were paralyzed. Some thought they should go back to Egypt, throw in the towel. It was good while it lasted. Some just sat there and prayed. But Nachshon knew there had to be a path forward, because he knew there was a destination in mind. He knew that they were leaving Egypt to go get the Torah at Sinai. And being that the Sinai, Mount Sinai, getting the Torah was their destination, that was going to happen, and any barrier, challenge in their way was just something artificial. And so he continued forward almost as if that obstacle didn't exist. The rest of the Jews, they had emunah, they had faith, but faith in the soul and heart is very different than having faith concretized in your actions, operating in such a way where you have with conviction what's going to happen. Nachshon led the way when the sea waters got up to his nostrils. At that moment, the miracle happened and the sea split. It was because he knew there was a destination and he knew they were close that he had the conviction of going forward. And on the 8th day, we take it one step forward. The 8th day celebrates not just the Exodus or the splitting of the sea, but the hope and the belief we have in the ultimate redemption, that for thousands of years, ever since we left Egypt, we've been marching towards a world redeemed, a world where there's no hatred, where there is no jealousy, where there is no competition, where godliness is no longer concealed but revealed, where the atrocities, the evil that transpired in Israel this past week no longer exists. And this has been thousands of years, a long march. And just like at the Sea of Reeds, there are different groups of people that have different ideas. Some say persecution is too hard. We're in modernity now. It's too hard to keep up Judaism. It was good while it lasted. But God forbid, let's throw in the towel. And some say in modernity we have but no choice but to change Judaism, perhaps adapt to some of the societal values and keep whatever we can, but there's no way we can continue forward. And then we have the Nachshons amongst us that say, keep on marching, something incredible is going to happen. To me, the Rebbe was that like the climber that we met, that said, don't worry, it's just a little bit more, and you're going to get to the peak. The Rebbe told us that we've been thousands of years in this journey, and we are so close to making this world a holy and good world, that our mitzvot and our good deeds have been accumulating, and they're almost at the point where it will bubble over, and we will see the coming of Mashiach with our own eyes. That's the conviction we need today, to live as proud Jews, knowing that each and every time we do a mitzvah, it is making a difference. It is changing the world for the better, and very soon with our own eyes, we will see a world redeemed. This is the hope that Jews have had for thousands of years, knowing that there is a destination. It is not just where we're coming from, but is where we are going to. And when we know we are close, it gives us that extra strength, that extra chizuk and encouragement to continue on living authentic, proud Jewish lives, knowing that the Torah and the mitzvot are just as relevant, if not more, than at any other point in history. How badly today we need the Torah's guidance. We need Shabbat in our lives. We need the love for one another. We need the Torah. We need belief. Finally, we know the last day on Pesach, we traditionally recite the Yizkor prayer, and we remembered our loved ones. Because as we are marching forward, we remember where we came from, almost as if the entire Jewish history was one long relay race. And through good times and bad, they continued marching. No matter what, they knew there was a destination. Some ran faster, some ran slower, but they all continued marching forward, knowing that their job was to pass on that baton to that next generation. So on this final day of Passover, we remember where we came from, and we tell our ancestors who are watching us in the great arena above, cheering us on, who are telling us, finish the race, you can do it. You can pass on this baton to the next generation, be the next link in our glorious change since Sinai. You can do it. You're almost at the peak of that mountain where you will see a world redeemed. So on this last day of Pesach, reflect on how our mitzvahs are making a difference. Have a conviction in your heart that soon we will see the effect of our mitzvot in a world redeemed. People often ask me, Rabbi, what will the world look like when Mashiach comes? And it's a fascinating question, and it's incredible to imagine a world without hatred or jealousy, a world with goodness and godliness. But I want to also switch the question to, what will I look like? Ask yourself that question when Mashiach comes. What will be the upgraded version of me, that version 2.0, when I'm not living with the same insecurities, the same fears, the same worries? What will I look like when the lights are turned on and I have more clarity in my life and I see God's hand directing me? What will I look like when I will not have pettiness in my life and I'll be focused on the big picture? What will my life look like when I know that every mitzvah that I do matters and is real? Now that's fun to think about. But thinking about it is only step one. On the last day of Pesach, we are asked to not only think about Mashiach, but actually live as if it has already come. What will I look like? And begin living it now. Experience a little mini redemption inside. Because just like Nachshon, he continued to operate in a way as if those external challenges were not there. Please God, we too, to step up our game and to imagine life the way it would be in a world of only goodness and kindness, and start living that way today until the time comes and we reach that peak of the mountain and we see a world redeemed in front of our eyes. Chag Sameach. We look forward to seeing you all when we return. We're coming back Friday, please God, and looking forward to seeing many of you this Shabbos. Chag Sameach.